Zeta Division versus LG. Wow, okay. Immediate Zera Aura call out.
Cutting the side deck as well, unsurprising. Mimic you target ban here, and Calm Fade.
There it is.
We'll see where this Metagross Prio goes.
Yeah, still likely going to be a late pick, but Inteleon is available. So is Umbreon, so is Blissey. I think those are the three most popular first pick Pokemon if are available. Wajiro locking down the Blissey.
I feel like the Inteleon, Luminosity has already proven that they will let Inteleon go, you know?
Yeah.
They have so many different options. They're not trying to steal it away from people. I mean, ideally, things would always be different. Oh, that's a good way to deal with it.
Okay, big brain dupe snacks in the booth, by the way. Talking about the Metagross being so important and an extremely early pick. Oh man, a Tinkaton pick would be so fun to see. On paper, it just makes a lot of sense with the stats and the passive and all things like that, but would be a very bold early pick from Zeta Division.
Definitely. That's something they can certainly get later. I doubt LG is going to be going into that well. Umbreon's still available, though.
Wow, with Snorlax Blissey on the other side, is there any realm that you actually leave that pick on the table? I mean, so many shields to steal throughout the matchup, and currently Luminosity Gaming not going to lean into it. Talonflame and Mew, the pickups for LG.
I still feel like we don't end up seeing the Tinkaton, as fun as that would be. Since the last time we saw it, it got nerfed. And it was Thief that got nerfed, right?
Well, they played it post-nerf. We did have...
was post-nerf?
It was, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was pre-nerf. Okay, well, anyway, we're not going to see it because they're choosing other good Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I don't know time. Okay.
Hey,
Wow,
the crowd!
That's
the
for the crowd.
going nuts for the Lucario pick from Overlord. I got a Lucario behind me. He's popping off too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Life-size
There's
Lucario.
an LG, I was going to say Lucario. There was an LG Lucario sign.
Yeah,
Really?
that's right.
That?
Oh,
Yeah, it was
that's
like the
cool,
head of
actually.
Lucario
Oh, that's
with a
awesome.
Go LG on it. It was really cool.
I mean, Overlord has showcased this Pokemon in devastating ways in multiple World Championships and countless other tournaments. So having that chance to really showcase that maybe it is not a Pokemon that is washed, instead just hitting its prime.
Sure, you're okay.
Yeah, okay.
It has a chance to prove that. It's not a huge chance, but it is a chance.
It does have the opportunity to do so, you are correct.
Yeah.
It is
A
afforded
slim
one
opportunity.
10-minute opportunity to do that. Listen, if there's one player that can, it's certainly Overlord.
I will say, Trick Hoopa with the Lucario seems a little bit scary. There are some great targets that you might choose over Lucario, but theoretically in a world where it's just those two Pokemon, I think that it could be pretty scary. It's going to stay in there for a really long time. You can pull it back once its cooldowns are off. I like it.
Ready, go! Listen, I know they're the sponsor of the broadcast, but these Meiji chocolates are really good. I just plucked one off the shelf behind us and just started eating them. They're awesome.
That is an honest 100% endorsement from Duke Snacks for the Meiji chocolates. So, if you find yourself in the country of Japan, make sure to go check out Meiji chocolates anywhere where treats are sold, or if you're feeling real bold, why not import?
Why not?
Number sign, not sponsored.
I think we are sponsored.
Yeah, we actually just are sponsored by
Number
Yeah,
sign,
yeah.
sponsored.
But the statement's not sponsored.
That's true. Yeah, you're not getting a bonus for that, I'm sorry. All right, Washiro getting an early stack in on this pussy. Trying to steal away these citrus berries and you will be successful. Don't do damage, you can't pick up those berries if you're full HP.
And good follow-up to get the knockout here, confirmed by Overlord. Trainer's probably a little perturbed about that.
Zeta Division, your purple team. Luminosity Gaming, your orange team.
I love
How'd I
that
do?
everyone does.
Thank you.
I said I finally thought I was going to get a break from it.
Yeah,
Because I catch that every time.
I've caught it every time this weekend, basically. Like 90% of the time.
I tried to, I just tried to do my best Spraggles impression. I don't know, folks at home can be the judge of that one.
Oh, yeah. Sure, that's
I
the
think they'll
only
be
thing they
happy.
ever judged.
I think you've satisfied the folks at home.
Thank you. Love you folks at home. Hope you're doing well. Ooh, Beldum getting it stolen away. So Rom on an invasion. Gonna take that blue buff, so poor Curios gonna take a little bit longer to get to the Metang. Won't have the blue buff either. Ooh, some aggression from Zeta Division as Kata gets to that second stage evolution of the Gabite.
He was barely escaping. Oh, well, what? Oh, is barely escaping. Making me eat my words twice, like Dupsack's eating his chocolates.
Which were delicious, by the way.
They really are good. But those are all in the U.S. very commonly as well. Like in the Asian market, they're super common now.
Won't even need to import.
Shout out to NKY Asian Mart by my house, which is awesome.
I bet they have them.
I think the crowd just cheered for Overlord surviving.
Wow.
Walking away from the team fight. That is wild. Either way, Luminosity Gaming taking it, and the hometown crowd popping off. This is unbelievable. Luminosity Gaming finding some newfound fans here in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Or have they always been there? Or have they always been there?
That's true. There's also got to be a strong contingent of Lucario fans in that crowd. I think there's going to be quite a few of those. A very famous favorite Pokemon, but Tomato getting a KO on this Snorlax.
LG winning their second World Championship here in Japan. It was a great way to forge a great fan base in a group of people that care about this game in a big way.
That's really cool. Ooh, a whole lot of Darkrai auto attack damage. Those late names with Talonflame. Huge engage follows up 3.
Wow. Whoa, 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 wow, wow, wee, whoa.
What?
And that is how you end the segment. What a play from Noob Snacks. The only reason Trainer LGC not getting the Penta knockout, by the way, is because Okada, still stuck on this level 7, actually chose to instead go get a lot of wild Pokemon in that central area. And, well, Luminosity Gaming just had one less target to chase after.
Zeta will take the Regieleki, but wow, they're trying to counter push actually. As well, we're seeing Lucario go in. It used to be Lucario, always so fun to watch. Rare now though, and gets an okay amount of damage. That core cannon may be going completely wide.
All right, we reset extreme speed with it.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need.
That is all the Aura Cannon is used for.
Yeah, it really is. It's just not do an attack.
Good night. Okay, LG's feeling this hometown crowd support though, and Zeta's probably wondering, what happened?
Yeah, they used to like us.
What happened to all the Zeta wind scarves?
They turned backwards. Now they can't read it.
Okay. Really devastating.
I do gotta say, whoa, hold on a minute. Wow, they're so far in there. My goodness, Overlord. Not afraid to try and test the waters, even with a Trick Hoopa with you.
Yeah, I think something mixed up there. I don't think the trick was landed correctly or something like that, but the timing wasn't right. Lucario did not have the chance to portal back out.
I've definitely been in a million positions, and I'm sure Tube Snacks, you've done this too, where somebody uses a mobility move and your trick, you just whip it and nothing.
Yeah, no.
It's onto yourself.
Story of my life. Yep.
Well, they've been getting a lot of early damage onto the Metagross, but since Curios is so bulky, they can rejoin this fight at basically maximum HP. Gyro Ball will change that around in a moment in a very aggressive.
Great Unite move. Great Unite move. And then right into the Snorlax power nap, but everybody's allowed to kind of escape in that moment. Curios building the Coliseum walls. Who's there to fight? Is this going to be an auto attack? And Brainbird takes it from long range. There was just too big of a slow. No! Man, I thought it was for sure the Brainbird because we were stuck on such low HP for so long. And now Zeta Division getting a taste of their own medicine, Vitopo.
Jeez, Leafeon from maximum range. Kata taking it down. The Cynthia duel. Garchomp defeating Lucario.
Good reference.
Thank you very much, yeah. Where's the Gastrodon or Spiritomb play?
Well, you're pushing the limits now.
Hey, but Togekiss, a genuine potential Unite option.
I do like Togekiss.
I think that would be very fun.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Togekiss as well.
Been a big request for a really long time, I think.
Oh, Zeta Division with that last fight really putting themselves back into this. Luminosity was just, they were playing so aggressive, but finally they're paying the price.
Yeah.
Stop Regieleki. It's a pretty good objective. We are going to get a slow rotate up, but Luminosity's got a lot to farm as well.
Did you see that the Talonflame did in fact Unite move into a wall, but unfortunately a created wall by their teammate? truly devastating
The
tournament.
worst combo.
Always happens.
Hey, big Brave Bird moment there, of course, with the trick Hoopa pulling him out. Lucario getting a lot of early damage, and they're going immediately in, following up with the Unite move.
Hit a target that time. Computing crashes up. Not enough targets.
I think it was canceled by Yawn Snorlax.
The Dragon Rush as the Brave Bird was landing, that was gross.
And there is Zeta Division's big answer back to that crowd. The Zeta fans rallying, and what a play! Tomato with a Yawn heavy slam combo.
Oh, are they gonna be able to get this? They're running away. That's so funny. It was a great combo, but Bliss just wasn't there in time to get one extra little bit of damage.
Somehow in all of this, dudes, Luminosity Gaming within a couple points, and the levels look great.
Yeah, looking fantastic. Vito go hand in hand, right? So
Yeah.
even across the board, but
Yes,
what a
yeah.
great look. Registeel buff for this final fight. We've seen this before from Luminosity Gaming, headed into a very important fight with a huge attack damage boost for the entire team. It will last for a long time, 90 seconds, so we'll be going into halfway through the final stretch.
No, didn't they lose last time that happened?
I know. But
Yeah, but yeah, whatever. We don't need to talk about that.
This time we have Lucario.
Yeah, it's true. Of course. Of course.
Well, Zeta Division feels like they found the answer to this team composition so far with some really well-timed yawns and Dragon Rushes. They're going to have to do it yet again, though, as Rayquaza has spawned in the first time of this best of 3.
Sending Mew on a mission here. Sending Otter on a mission. See how many points they can get. Certainly going to give them a lead. Leafeon can't stop. 58 points go in.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit of a duel, and Otter will be able to walk away, or float away, rather.
Barely. This last leg, that you can float on a leg, if that's how that works. They haven't really been too aggressive, even though they saw the fact that Otto was up there. Of course, they were trying to stop with their own Pokemon, so they're just playing at a disadvantage numbers-wise, but a huge pick. You got it. Yep, just even to survive.
Yep. Flame sweep into a wall. Just enough camera work to catch that one. We saw it. We saw it. The fists are flying, but they are not enough right now. We are falling like dominoes. Overlord's going to have to e-speed everything through. Bliss assistance. Wow.
Leafeon taking that KO. Curios kind of the hope for LG, but eliminated. Zeta Division taking out these targets one by one. Trainer, kind of the last hope of securing, and maybe Mew behind that. Otter's still available. Does still have the Unite move. They are going to use it for that invulnerability.
Oh, man, they popped out a bit too early. Trainer down. Slash moves up. What can they do? Nothing. Zeta Division secures. Man.
Luminosity Gaming just unfortunately not having a chance to secure that Rayquaza. Zeta Division taking down these targets of LG one by one. Luminosity Gaming cannot make it work despite this epic Lucario pick.
What a great game by Zeta Division. Luminosity kept it close, trying to keep level parity, trying to get that cheeky back score. Zeta unfazed, just took a very clean fight, and Luminosity got picked apart one piece at a time.
The Lucario actually didn't do that badly, but just the way that they were initiated upon just did not work out at all. The damage of the Topo on the Leafeon with the Bliss assistance and everything, it was just too much. I mean, it feels like it's been a little bit more rare to see why Leafeon is banned.
Game number 2, what fun picks, what interesting picks, what meta picks are we going to see in this one? Zeraora is going to be the ban again. Luminosity Gaming cannot afford to have that Psyduck in this matchup. Tomato, one of the best Psyduck players, I think, of the tournament, genuinely.
I agree.
A great set of players on both sides of this matchup, so it's just dangerous if it's going to be out in the open in any way. They also understand how strong it is, of course, by being good players themselves.
Yeah. Okay, well, the identical bans in Watchero is going to go back to the Blissey. No reason to go away from that Pokemon, not with the over 100,000 healing in a situation like that.
112,000 damage healed by Wajiro, who's just having themselves a crazy tournament. They're playing incredibly well, just on their own here, on their own merits.
Like this draft from Luminosity Gaming so far, Trainer taking that Leafeon back. Slashcan going back to the Hoopa, though, such a powerful pick. You don't want that to go to Zeta Division, but also the Trick Hoopa shenanigans have been solid in tournament matches past.
Right, you just don't want to give them the Talonflame Hoopa potentially up in this next pick, right? That's just been so good the entire tournament.
Yeah, last time we saw the Metagross stolen away, but this time it's Sweet Tomato returning the Mamoswine. Okay, that Ice Fang trying to be the answer, and Curios gonna take Rom's Darkrai.
Absol's still standing. I kind of thought that's where LG was going to go with the speedster pick in that moment, but no, Vatopo grabbing Zora.
Oh. See the crowd getting kind of excited with that Armarouge hover. Let's see a different option from Rom. The Mewtwo Y still available, are going to lock it into no Inteleon this time around.
I'd love to see Water Bear just for fun.
Yeah, okay,
Just
out of
for
fun picks, that one, maybe Surf Greninja.
Yeah.
In a situation like this would be a blast, but feels like we might need a, well, no, it's going to be Talonflame, so triple speedster nonetheless, but still a metagame selection. Trick Hoopa going to have Leafeon and Talonflame for targets.
Yeah.
We'll see who's on what. They could be switching things around. This is probably where they're going to stay at, I'd assume.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we haven't seen too much Overlord Talonflame, if we're being honest. There's been a whole lot of trainer picking up that Pokemon. I don't think Luminosity Gaming has had the chance to play Leafeon and Talonflame together in a lot of matches.
Yeah, there may have been one time, but I might just even be misremembering that. And then the Darkrai, a little bit more rare of a pick. And at this point, I'm just assuming Curios can actually play any Pokemon in the game at the exact same level. They release a Pokemon, and they just download the information into his brain.
Yeah. Vidopo on the Zoroark with no Comfey for one of the first times that we've seen in a while, but they do have Blissey, a truly amazing pocket support. Not quite at the levels of Comfey in terms of pocket ability, but hey, that Unite move may be uncontestable best in the game at this point.
I'm not sold on LG's draft, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, the Darkrai being...
I'm having a hard time figuring out what their battle plan is. I think Kakata has an opportunity to just ransack them with this Metagross.
Not till later, I think might be the hope.
Sure. Like get ahead early, stay ahead type thing? Okay.
Leafeon's going to be there to try to really shut that down early.
Go!
Really hit that second frame. Dupe Snack's coming in a little late.
I was trying to go for like an echo effect.
Oh, I like that reverb. Reverb here in the booth.
Yeah.
Very cool. Maybe.
I've been saying booth a lot. We're definitely not in a booth. We're more open air, but, you know, here in the studio.
It's also not a studio.
Really?
Not really, no.
Here in
How
the
do you define the studio?
building.
That's a fair point. I can't define it. So, whatever.
Yeah, you get a dictionary and tell me this isn't the studio. We'll see after that.
We're pausing the game so we can figure out the definition of a studio.
Put it on hold.
Yeah. Dictionaries coming
Guys, the NA crew's having a real problem over here. Can we throw a timeout? Team timeout?
Yeah.
So, definitely not a studio. It is a set.
Well, okay.
It is certainly a set.
Take a gander.
Not a studio.
Okay, you
Set
know what?
makes
I will
sense.
relent. Set feels the best.
Yeah.
All right.
Most accurate, but it doesn't feel the best to say.
If you've been following along in the definition saga, we have went through quite a few things, starting off with booth, checking out the studio, and finally landing on the most important, a set.
Yeah. It could be.
Thank you, everyone.
It could be a stage. It's our stage.
All right, Wonder Chef, the one who didn't define it, actually changing. It's to me.
It's not a stage, brother.
Okay. Hard no.
A stage can be anything. It doesn't need to be a physical stage. Anything where you like perform. What?
Okay.
It can be like whatever you want, man.
Whatever.
And we just got signed that it's a tech pause from Luminosity.
Okay.
Up front.
They had to pause for a second.
What are
to be
words,
like,
dude?
What? I don't know. What are they? I'm just saying. It is. But
Why are pants different than shirts?
Okay. But what is a blouse? Can you define that?
No!
Yeah, no one-
Apparently I've learned I can't
No one
define
can.
any words.
That's all right. Again, I just have to say it so clearly, it is not our job. We do it for the love of the game instead. Finding definitions is our passion, and we are chasing that. But hopefully we'll be getting back into this match quickly for everyone's sake, not ours, but everybody else.
yeah, they had to learn us talking about what are words really and what are blouses.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what sometimes if they want us to travel abroad, you know, we go on a journey, soul search a little bit, we get introspective on these broadcasts.
Yeah.
We do.
And then I don't really like what I see when we do that, I think. I found something not great here.
I love that. The product we like to deliver is one that Chef would call not great.
I didn't mean the product. I meant the post the soul searching.
That's true. You know a product that is great, truly, through and through.
That was
is
good.
These Messi
They're giving him a raise
chocolates.
for that one, for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll be getting the bonus from the sponsor.
We're returning soon. We're returning soon.
Okay, sponsor of the tournament. Well, if we're returning soon, I just want to get my full pitch.
Oh, yeah, good,
these
good.
mushrooms have been fantastic. They do come in another variation. I don't know if I have access quickly, but I will point to it. The bamboo shoots chocolate. Looking a little bit like our bugles in the West, but just instead
But
a
not
chocolate.
In conical shape.
Yeah.
Sure. I got you.
Looking like, not tasting like. But really a truly delectable little treat in these Messi chocolates. Given a few variations, we had a lot of snacks with snacks
Nice,
favor.
great adjustment.
Over to them. Yeah.
Look at this.
Delphox and Charizard really locking down our supply. Like if anybody was attempting a heist kind of situation for the Messi chocolates in the studio, set, stage, or booth, not available thanks to Delphox and Charizard's wonderful Defender play.
I'd like to take a moment and also highlight how great the set looks today once we were no longer touching it.
I actually didn't think about that. Yeah, a lot of the set design was early on us. We got to put the plushies where we wanted them, and then when the actual talent had a chance to come through, it looks incredible.
Yeah.
They were
They're like,
what
you guys did a really good job.
Can you give me a swivel here for a moment? Because we do have Greninja,
the Greninja
holding on to some of the chocolates too, which is so wonderful.
That's really great.
Very well done. Charizard holding the game zine.
Yeah, so cool.
The celebration of Fennel last year.
And little baby Kung Fu all the way over there. I think a little bit out of our shot.
Oh, we're in.
Is holding a baby bag of chocolates. But we'll get to that when we get to it.
I'm gonna get to the chocolates right now.
Yeah, we're gonna absolutely eat those chocolates right now.
Yeah, I bought a whole box before this set started. I knew I needed that pop of sugar energy.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Meiji.
You want that pop? Get that Meiji. They're testing them.
Yeah,
All right.
Let's workshop that a little bit.
True.
Please answer the survey in your chat as to how much you liked that catchphrase.
Oh, we're not gonna make him do this survey, but okay. Zeta Division absolutely spitting in my face when it comes to the early game take I had early on, wanting to really push the advantage in the bottom path. Luminosity again trying to hold down this Metagross, which is working out well so far, but this Zoroark striking early and with no Comfey duo.
Are they going to be cheeky enough to go for a score? It doesn't look like it. Moving forward, yeah, just make the
I think it's a
noise,
rip
man.
off the Band-Aid situation if we have a crinkly product in front of our microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, quickly responding, getting a knockout on the Blissey and a stack in here. Mega Mewtwo Y is ready to A-press them down, but doesn't have enough in the tank.
Yeah, with no defender or support to give you a little bit of stun control, you can mostly walk away from those attacks. And thank you so much, production, for delivering us even more Meiji chocolates. They're like, please stop destroying our set by eating the chocolates. Bit of a Willy Wonka scenario from us. But instead,
Yeah, what if we were invited to
Oh.
Willy Wonka's factory and then we're destroying it? What was like, take chocolate and please leave. You're destroying everything.
We would definitely suffer all the fate of the children. One of us would turn into a blueberry.
Yeah, I think I've already called Dupes next Augustus Gloop at one point.
That happened.
I get to be Mike TV, by the way.
Because of the glasses.
Yeah, you can be the girl who gets eaten by the squirrels.
I don't remember that. That's scary.
Yeah, it's a crazy turn. Oh, Talonflame with 2 KOs. And that's on, sorry, I'm trying to, Overlord on the Talonflame this time. I forgot, honestly. Been seeing so many Trainer LGC Talonflame games, but the Gale Wings Pokemon on Overlord.
Getting Vitopo down there is just a great experience exchange. That put Overlord at 9. Oh, okay.
Trainer LGC want to get it in on the action a little bit. These speedsters, 3 of them on Luminosity Gaming, obviously going to be walking and flying and floating highlight reels, but Luminosity Gaming trying to get as many as possible in that early game.
Rare Solar Beam out of Otter to just kind of price in the rest of the team so they can make it to the Regice. And there's another one, not switching up the ability set there. And a pretty uncontested Regice.
Yeah, you can see how safe Curios is playing with the Darkrai on your minimap, just choosing to hover around their goal zone for as long as they possibly could. One Dark Void Could sleep those targets if they hung out a little bit longer, but a little bit too late to try to steal away the Reggie Alecki.
Good crash landing in the backside by Overlord. Tons of pressure being put on, and now Slash is in the mix with the Hoopa for the support there. They're going to be able to close out this goal zone in a good way.
All right.
Not sure you get the 40 in there, Chief, but they're going to try, and they're going to sacrifice Slash to the cause so Overlord can get away.
Yeah, a lot of optimism with a 40-point score into that tier 2. No jump pad, but Zeta Division quick on the rotation, nonetheless.
This flies looks so good. I'm saying music
Good
get
counter.
Nice.
Yeah, get compute and crash mid-animation is going to flame sweep, and then his trainer will be taking the knockout on to Vidopo. A Zorark who's truly been shut down outside of the first minute.
Doing great, and this is what you were talking about. Get ahead, stay ahead. But what they can't do is something that we've seen LG do in games past, and that's overextend, give up a knockout on Overlord or Trainer, gives that experience right back.
All right, how do you feel about a 40-point score in the tier 2 then as an extension?
Well,
I think it's a little bit safer.
Yeah,
this
I
time
think
around.
they've got good vision, so I think it's probably fine as they're backing and they're going to be able to.
Where is Zeta Division right now, by the way?
The wrong side. They forgot which side they were playing on.
Yeah, well,
They're
if
like,
there's
whoa.
buffs on that side, I don't really know if we can call it wrong.
I know. That actually was pretty
That
correct.
was a great side strike into the Topo knockout. So maybe they're just looking for the free pick, right? They're hoping that they can get one of these speedsters alone with a 4-player crash. Good flame sweep. Does eventually hit a wall, but actually rips through a couple targets first.
Yeah, a correct wall.
Yeah.
It was also a really nice eject button play from Overlord there in the first place. Mewtwo Y, one of those attackers with that mobility from teleport that can be really tricky to dive because of it. But despite the double teleport all the way to the rest of their backline,
nice.
the Talonflame still able to get it with the help of the eject button.
Just in the picture-in-picture here, we saw Vitopo trying to sneak down while Kyrios was ripping through another Regice. And all of a sudden, the backdoor Trainer LGC getting a knockout on the Topo before he can step in and try and steal that out from under him. Luminosity Gaming is looking much better in this game now than they did at this point in Game 1.
I'm going to be honest, that Hoopa Unite move really, really early. I don't think it's going to be really punished too hard, but Zeta Division does know that all of Luminosity Gaming is making that rotation, so a very safe score onto that tier 1 from Luminosity Gaming, kind of keeping Zeta Division in this game points-wise. Would love LG to kind of make that call after they got the Reggie Alecki to buy a little bit more time for defense, but otherwise, doesn't matter. Luminosity Gaming still with a really good lead.
We were just talking about it. Regulus and I were saying that we think that Zorark is one of the toughest speedsters to play from behind. Specifically, too, not that it's bad, but if you only have a Blissey supporting, and that's certainly something that we're seeing right now, just not able to do quite enough damage to fight some of these other super strong speedsters. Nice. We're seeing a lot of really good unites come out from Overlord. Someone who can actually hit these?
Curios got shredded in his own Nightmare Void by Vitopo, who's stepping up back through out of that Nightmare and saying, welcome to Elm Street, baby. Zeta Division owns this block.
Wow, Metagross going to go down even after using the Unite move, and if the game plan from Luminosity Gaming was to shut down the Metagross, I think they've been succeeding in this matchup. That has been a huge power pick from Zeta Division, feeling relatively shut down throughout this early and mid game, and we're on the dawn of the late game at 3 minutes.
Topo's finding a way to keep their team in this right now. It's all kind of on Washiro to make sure that they have everything they need to convert on a Game 2 win on Luminosity Gaming side, because they're playing pretty darn well themselves.
And I think Washiro hoping what they need is just a lot of eggs.
Yeah, a lot of eggs.
Is that your order? Because that's all we're giving.
We're from North America, we can't get that anymore. This is definitely going to be a game in my eyes that's going to come down to what the timing is on the Bliss assistance. I think that's going to decide so much. And honestly, I trust Washiro a lot.
Yeah, when you have 112,000 damage healed out of your Blissey, numbers we haven't seen in a very long time. Good fly approach and plucking the Mewtwo with that. Two-step gets a knockout. They might rip.
Yeah, if Luminosity Gaming has ever had an opportunity to rip Rayquaza, that one's it. You can see it, it's in the clouds. Great stun on the 2-180.
Air Void on Metagross.
Just trying to get rid of it.
They do it too early. Can Metagross go back in? Oh, Curious does convert on the knockout. Fly, bang, secure. Luminosity Gaming, well executed.
Yeah, Tomato being the only Pokemon and player that could play spoiler in that situation actually survives for a concerning amount of time,
Yeah.
despite being stunned constantly, but the Mamoswine Unite move giving them a ton of shielding, and Luminosity Gaming making this third place tiebreaker game a set.
Their routing of how they decided to split up and space out their crowd control to stop those two members was so professional. Like, I mean, just being able to hold them so long with the Darkrai Unite and then, yeah, perfectly spaced Hyperspace Fury, all of it was just so beautiful. Like, they could have rotated a little bit closer, but they actually rotated a little bit further along the southwest side and it kind of went up just to make sure that they had the route to cut off anybody who was going to stop them. So really, really clean, no hesitation play. That's what we needed to see out of LG, I think, in their previous games, basically.
Well, yeah. I mean, particularly what I wanted to see from them was having 3 Pokemon down before the final stretch starts. I think that's where Luminosity Gaming really found a lot of their momentum in this game. If you can have that in every set, you'll take it.
Yeah.
Obviously, not an option in every game. The way Otter getting their own highlight reel a little bit on this Mew, it just does feel when this player is on this Pokemon, we're looking at a different Luminosity Gaming.
Yep. Very, I mean, well played. You know, they got the catch they needed on a great fly, right? They took down Mewtwo Y, which opened up Trainer with a huge flank to sort out Vitopo. And the adjustment that Luminosity made was terrific, right? Put the Metagross in the Nightmare Void. Curios did their job, 1v1 with the Unite move, shutting that down.
And won against
Yeah, no,
not an easy
absolutely.
target to 1v1.
No, not at all. And then the rest of the team stepped up and said, oh, the rip is on us. We need to secure it out from under Tomato, right? And what other scenario can you ask for in that situation? Everybody just did their job.
Perfectly timed fly as well for the secure. Every bit of that was just 100% perfect.
Yeah. Like that fly Talonflame. Like, no matter what, Kakata is always playing that topside solo,
Yeah, that's fair.
trying to play up. They're playing Garchomp, they're playing Blastoise, they're playing Metagross. Sometimes we see a slight switch, but for the most part, you just kind of know you'll have the advantage in that first fight if you dedicate a full 5 squad. Whoa. Darkrai ban. Okay, not wanting Rom to go on that. Instead, probably letting the Inteleon happen in that
Yeah.
situation. That is a bold choice.
It does put Zeta in a weird position here.
Yeah, in terms of their support choice is really big. Luminosity Gaming able to take away maybe a couple of those, but interesting. It is going to be the Hoopa pick from Tomato.
Okay, which makes it more difficult for Zeta to commit to the Comfy support role here.
Yeah, that's right. Luminosity Gaming giving up that Comfy.
Okay, they're doing to Zeta what Zeta did to them game 1 of yesterday.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're correct.
What a full circle situation this is. That's great.
And then if it goes, now Zeta has to understand what's happening, right? And if Vitopo was willing to take Zoroark with no Comfy before, you got to think they have to take it off the block now, and they do. They commit right now to it.
Into response to a Slowbro pick. All right,
You
Trainer.
have Mimikyu now.
Yeah, that's exactly. We got to see Mimikyu. Overlord probably going to pick up this Leafeon. I mean, having 2 answers to that duo combination just feels so solid. But right now, with Absol being covered, Mamoswine, another great option against that duo. But right now, we're going to see the Belissi be locked in. I'm sorry, no Mamoswine, not with Slowbro already locked in. But yeah, still, very good pick on the Belissi.
How do you follow this up?
So Otter's going to be playing Safeguard. He's almost always on Safeguard with Blissey.
Yeah. Curios could still keep the Slowbro, by the way.
I hate that.
I know, it's not a common option. We don't see it succeed a lot, especially in the double supporter. We're not going to see that, but it's going to be Rom's Meowscarada, another late game carry for Kakata on the Garchomps, leaving the Metagross behind in those first couple of games. Game 3, and Luminosity Gaming going to return to this triple speedster composition. Let's see how these players swap around these roles, but I'm imagining we're going to see a look with Curios on Absol. Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be Fly this time since the comp is so different. There's great reasons for both kind of all the time, if I'm being 100% honest, but this is going to be a lot less easy to just fly in over and over and just get out for free.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we're looking at Fly. I think Brave Bird, it's just going to be really hard to land successful Brave Birds, if I'm being completely honest. Masquerada and Zora are going to be really challenging targets to find and lock down, especially with a slow bro. It's not like it's a mean look Umbreon or something like that. It's going to be rather inconsistent, so Overlord can play it again. They played Fly last game. Would not be shocked to see it again.
Slash is going to have to come unglued this game, right? A lot of pressure on Slash to make it happen here for Luminosity Gaming.
Is that Rom, Hoopa, and Tomato Garchomp?
That's the pick order. That's the pick order. It's not the characters that they're
Thank you so much.
Because I did the exact same thing earlier today. That's the pick order from left to right is what it was.
Man, okay, we're seeing in our backstage booth, set, stage, etc., we're seeing some players get their photos taken, and the medals for placement are really cool. By the way, yeah, they're really sweet. These are players that are probably in 5th place or 4th place, things like that, or not 4th place. We're about to determine that.
Ready, go!
Zeta Division, your purple team. Luminosity Gaming, your orange team. As we are determining who will get the 3rd place in the Asia Champions League, a chance to podium. The other team going out in 4th.
All right, Chef. Chef and Zoinks, what's the eye test here? Which draft you liking?
I mean, Luminosity Gaming won with this exact composition, almost. A little bit different in the defender spot, but I like this triple speedster look from LG. I'm going to go with LG looking a little bit better here.
What do you think, Chef?
I like Zeta. I like Zeta a lot right here. I think Masquerada in general is a really cool pick that has some really good uses against a lot of these options, like being able to dodge some really nice stuff easily from the other speedsters, and then just force everybody to kind of group up, and they have so much AoE damage on Zeta. That's going to be a big deal.
The Garchomp is going to be relatively an irrelevant Pokemon until level 9. It often is with these. However, you pick that Pokemon because its Unite move is essentially a delete button into anything on the Luminosity Gaming roster outside of the slow. No matter what, as soon as you hit that move, you are guaranteeing a KO, potentially more if Luminosity Gaming tries to handle that fight longer.
Good dive.
But this early game is just going to be so ridiculous for LG.
Great dive. Comfey's there for the BOGO deal. Playing on the backside is Otter on the Blissey, and it is Safeguard.
Wheel diff, absolutely crushing right now, by the way. Auto attack, wheel diff for this Comfey coming in clutch, but eventually Absol will find their points.
Still a great delay, though, especially early on. You really want to try to hold them as long as possible. They're still going to have time to rotate down for the 8-minute mark, and they're going to do that a little bit more safely all the way around the backside. In the meantime, just Overlord farming. I'm sorry, not Overlord farming, Topo farming. It's going to happen every once in a while. You see the Zorak, you just call him Overlord.
Yeah, with a Comfey pocket too.
Yeah.
I'm really curious why we don't have a Mimikyu on the side of Luminosity Gaming, going to be completely honest. But Leafeon, obviously a power pick. Absol the same way. Big fight here in the middle. Slowbro's going to tank a lot of that damage. Absol taking a little bit too much. Maybe no!
Oh,
they turn around
boy.
and get the KO.
Well done. One back the other way. Love that we're actually playing Surf Slowbro here. And this.
Oh, so low, so low.
Nice.
I believe that was the eject button out of Overlord to dodge the flower trick, by the way. Really, really tough timing thing to do, but as soon as that flower starts dropping, you can use some movement ability to avoid the damage, and that is a Slowbro falling to this damage of the Zork, who had just hit level 9, by the way.
Yeah, and 4 Aos coins dropping onto the map for an easy stack business there to make sure that the Zork is bum ready to go.
Fly's coming back in. That's the confirmation on that. Have we seen if it was Sucker Punch again, out of curious?
Oh, yeah, it likely will be. Into Meowscarada and Zoroark, it feels like the proper direction to go. You're going to be pursuing damage into some of those double teams instead.
I think Rom's entire game plan here is going to try and bait.
No way!
He's going to try and bait the slow beam out of Slash late game. Is just harass and try and get them to commit to it.
Oh, he stole the Citrus Berry too with that really long dive. You end up on the other side of the enemy Pokemon with that boosted last hit of Feint Attack, and actually ends up right where the Citrus Berry is, meaning that Otter's going to rotate all the way back to Tier 2. They cannot defend that Tier 1. It will break. Great counter score by Overlord on this Talonflame. We keep the super line extremely close.
Flower Trick is there on the Talonflame after jumping into the sky with Fly here. Sucker Punch is what they're using. Tons of damage in. Golfing Unite is down.
The Topo's looking unstoppable. Obviously, we got to wait for like slow beam. That's going to be a very important aspect of this. But right now, getting as fed as you could possibly want to in this situation, I think.
Jeez, this team's just posturing. No one wants to get in range of these giant damage dealers. Will be Rom forces out that Unite move. Curious as also going to get away. Big flame sweep from Overlord. Going to pull that guard jump back. Vidopo gets in the mix though and gets away.
Wow, wow, wow. Well done. I mean, these two teams are fun to watch.
Woo! Topo still going in.
Telekinesis.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that,
healing on
if I'm
that.
being honest.
Could be tough to land, but it is a great move.
Yeah, if you can land it, that could be a game changer for sure. But you can also just miss it. It could mean nothing. So it is what it is.
That is. Yeah. Those are the options.
Yeah,
The definition.
gotta make your bet.
And laying it. All right, Regieleki under half HP. No one there to contest for Luminosity Gaming. Instead, just trying to level up because they know they have to defend this goal zone immediately. So if you get a Unite move back, you'll be feeling like in a better position. Talonflame actually going on a bit of an invade strat. Curious taking some early damage.
23 points on that goal zone. That's a big 35-point over.
Overlord does take the red buff and is going to dump in some points. Luminosity Gaming also putting points on this tier in the bottom. This scoreline so incredibly close between these two teams. Only, I believe, 9 points between these two squads.
And Trainer get out. Slow smoke down. Forces out the two-step. Damage is down. Flower Field's forever the other way. But Topo's on the chase. Slash goes down, but that's the exchange that you're willing to make to get Trainer out of dodge. Time to put damage on. Talonflame can't follow up. Curious goes straight in, pops their Unite move, and they might not find it. Bliss assistance on them.
Wow, okay, that Sucker Punch is racing on him. Outsguarded for a little bit, but they don't get taken down. Flourish is gonna move in and actually KO the Leafeon.
Wow. Another flame sweep hits 3 targets.
Bought time on that Reggie, I think, with that maneuver. Now Zeta Division is going to rotate towards it. Luminosity Gaming, you used all your resources, so you just don't have the firepower to take down this Registeel. Surf takes it, though! Unreal! Even locked down for a moment with the crowd control. The third hit of Surf going to crash into the Registeel. Luminosity Gaming now having an attack buff.
These teams are playing possessed right
This
now.
is so sick.
They are playing possessed right now.
Kakata only at level 11, but Vidopo is just making up for it.
Slow beam on the double.
Wow.
Pulls it back through, forces them through, and they still get the knockout. Decent look.
I think Emerald 2-step needed to be invested to do so. Hoopa jump pads to the bottom to try to stop Talonflame, so 40 points will go in for Trainer. Garchomp not going to make it in time to stop the score, but will try to push Trainer outside, gain a little bit of space.
Points still go in, though.
Yeah, I know.
23-point difference. Oh, Trainer going down. I mean, it's kind of okay to get knocked out at this point.
It's a fair exchange, I think, at that point in time.
I wonder where Zeta Division wants to go with this. They're trying to force some KOs, but
Oh, good serve.
they're not going to be able to put any pressure on Regieleki because of all this, right? See another flame charge from Overlord to dodge that flower trick again. A Meowscarred player themselves, so they know a lot of those timings. They know how frustrating it is when they don't get those KOs.
They still could definitely take this Regieleki. I mean, just the damage from the Zork alone could potentially do it in the next 30 seconds. But now they're alone, and it seems like Luminosity is aware that there's a chance that could be a pretty big issue later on. Any points right now are huge. Even if he just goes in and scores 20 points, that's actually a pretty big deal right now. This is maybe one of the closest 2-minute marks that we've seen all day.
Yeah.
They're not going to be taking it. They're maybe waiting to see if they were going to rotate back up, but we're just getting ready for what is honestly going to be probably a pretty even fight.
Oh, what a crazy game 3. Tomato, the only Pokemon on the battlefield right now without a Unite move. Doubt that's going to last too long. They were trying to take that bottom experience, but only at level 11. Luminosity Gaming all over the top side of the map. Overlord going to poke a little bit of damage. Dangerous task. Knock up onto Curios. It's getting scary.
Fly to the air, Bliss is right in the middle. Rayquaza is getting ripped. Garchomp goes forward as well. And Luminosity takes it. Wow, slow beam perfectly, or excuse me, telekinesis time down. Does catch Vitopo, tons of damage in. Curios is on the business. And Zeta Division is seeing this thing slip through their fingers.
Deja vu. Looking so good. Oh, gets the Quadra. Maybe not quite the Penta, but this is truly deja vu. Another 1-2 after looking like they could take the whole thing. But Luminosity, they just bounce back so hard.
Yeah, wow, what a game 2 and 3 from them. A little poke damage into Rayquaza. They know they have the opportunity to take it. Slash on this slow bro, just so offensively positioned. Can slow beam, can surf, gives them a really, really good chance at last hitting the Ray. And you can see that success pay off.
Man, this was an awesome set.
Oh, this game was
So close.
one of the best games in the tournament, I think, almost without a doubt. The fights, the back and forths were amazing. And once again, we got a chance to see LG making a completely no hesitation, hard call on how to play the endgame fight and then making it work perfectly. Exact execution.
I could watch these two teams play against each other for the rest
yeah.
of my life. Like, I want to see Zeta Division against Luminosity Gaming on repeat as frequently as I can. What a game. We got Wajiro and the Leafeon hanging out for a moment. The crowd's cheering for this one, no.
Just hanging out, a little bit of friendliness. Oh, that's rude. Absolutely rude.
Well, you gotta get vengeance for getting your teammate knocked out in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Final countdown. Zeta Division will end Asia Champions League 2025 in 4th place. Luminosity Gaming going to be in the 3rd place spot here at Asia Champions League.
That was a fun set. I'm assuming you got to catch some of that Spraggles from the side over there.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of it. Really exciting. Zeta Division, your purple team, Luminosity Gaming, your orange team, and they were able to win there. I mean, it